Are you feeling burnt out and on the verge of quitting real estate? Hold on, watch this video all the way through, and then make a decision. My name is Andrew, or of course you can call me Mongo. I am a real estate agent and a team leader. On my own, I generally sell about 50 to 60 a year. I am completely out of production right now, just helping my real estate team that is ranked top 1,000 in the nation, according to Real Trends. And I understand exactly how you're feeling. And in this video, I promise to give you a plan to help you reignite some of that passion, hopefully. And if real estate just isn't for you and you do need to quit, well, I'm sorry to see you go. And I understand completely the challenges that you're facing, as well as exactly how you're feeling. In this video, I'm going to share with you the tactics and strategies to help reignite some of that passion and help you get your career off to a roaring restart. All you need to do is follow the plan that I'm talking about, go through the steps that I'm going to discuss, and that will help you rebuild your thriving career. Very first thing we need to talk about is understanding the root cause of why you're feeling burnout, you're tired, you are just not enjoying the career in general. Because if we don't know why, we're going to continue to fall back into this trap. So let's start there. My very first suggestion here is to reflect on the reasons why you are feeling burnt out. This is something that I deal with a lot. Even though I am a coach and a trainer, I still have my own coach, and she's always watching burnout for me because it's something that I dive in a lot. A lot of times for me, it's because I'm not doing the things that give me joy and passion, which the entire job is not going to do that. You're going to have 20% of your job no matter what. Everybody does. That we just don't like as much. There's going to be boring work or unfun work in general. But if that number is closer to 80 or 90%, then you most likely need to adjust what you're doing. So what exactly is it that's causing that? Is it pressure to meet sales goals? Is it lack of having any drive or know where you're supposed to be going at all? Or is it the unpredictability of the market, which we all know we have in droves right now, especially with the changes coming here soon and just everything that is changing in the landscape? Or is it work-life balance? The point is, I suggest you spend a few minutes, go out and walk in the park or something like that, and reflect on exactly what it is. And if it's coming to mind instantly and you already know exactly what it is, great, your first step is done. Once we have identified the root cause of the dissatisfaction, we can start implementing some strategies to help fix it. And one of those things we need to jump in immediately to is adjusting the mindset for a more positive outlook. And then from there, we need to make practical changes towards that. Let me give you an example here. If your big thing is, which I imagine a lot of you are in this boat if you're watching this video, if you're thinking, you know what, I'm dissatisfied because I don't know where my next piece of business is coming from. I have no idea how to do this business. I didn't know it was going to be so difficult finding people. Once I get them, I'm great and I communicate with them well and I negotiate well and all this other stuff. And I love that portion, but I can't seem to find the business. And we need to put in an attack plan for you to find out ways and direct strategies and even the tactical strategies in order for you to get that business so that you can spend time in the portion that you do like, which is helping the clients. That's just one example of many. Whatever this is, you need to pinpoint it down so that we can come up with the strategies to fix it. And once we know exactly what this is, now we can start addressing those specific needs that you need in your business so that you can now start going from that 80% dislike to that 20% dislike and have 80% of the job that you like. The next thing we need to discuss is reconnecting with your passion. Listen, once we know exactly what is causing some of the issues, now we need to start focusing on reigniting the passion. A lot of people are going to tell you, here's some practical strategies, jump right into it. And when I was building what I was going to talk about in this video, I almost went that direction of, hey, if you're not liking it, try these things and do that. But the problem is we don't actually get to the root source of the problem, which we just sort of looked at. And then we need to reignite the passion so that it actually makes sense for you. Because if you're on burnout, you're not feeling good about this industry right now, then we need to reignite that passion or you're just going to go down a few steps and then eventually stop. We need something to cling on to. We need your why. So my suggestion is to spend a few times in your happy place. I don't care if that's hiking, the pub, like wherever it is, spend a few minutes reflecting on exactly what got you excited about real estate in the first place. A lot of us got into real estate and we didn't really know what to expect. We just thought, that's a great way to make a living, or that would be kind of cool, or heck, you might even been like, real estate agents make a ton of money. That's what I'm getting into. Whatever that portion is, we need to dive into it so that we can figure out exactly how to reignite that. We need that sitting in front of us so that we can reignite it. So was it the thrill of finding a house for a client? Was it the handing the keys to a first-time home buyer? Or was it the thrill of the negotiating? Or just the connection that you get with lots of different people so that you can enjoy being in your element talking to lots of people? Whatever that thing is, spend 5 minutes, spend an hour, however long you need to kind of reignite that flame a little bit and get excited about that portion. Because what happens with a lot of us that I've noticed with my coaching clients and other people that I train in the industry, my team members, things like that, is that when that sort of like spark starts dying down, it's because they started shifting away from what got them into this in the first place. Sometimes that's because a mentor tells us something. Like, I remember I had an agent not too long ago that I was helping coach and things like that, and they were perfectly fine doing first-time homebuyers. They loved first-time homebuyers. It was a little bit less stressful because that person didn't know everything. So if they screwed up, they didn't really know. Like, that was a real part of their thought process, which is okay. But then what happened was their broker eventually was like, hey, listen, you got to list to last. If you don't list to last, you're going to get out of the industry. So they started pushing more into listing, started doing things that they didn't like. And that's what drew the passion away. And then their sales in turn plummeted because they were focusing on something that just didn't give them any passion whatsoever. And if you don't know what that is, if you're looking at it going, I just don't have enough of that info. Maybe you're new, maybe your career never really got kicked off. You've always been kind of part-time or whatever that thing is. Then maybe we need to go into a different direction. Of whatever you are doing, we need to switch this up. Maybe we need to get more honed in on a certain type of niche. Maybe we need to push into those first-time home buyers only. Maybe those are the ones that are driving you nuts because they have 600 questions and their dad shows up to the home inspection and it drives you nuts and you want to push into listings. Then we need to start focusing our efforts into that direction of whatever is going to give you passion. Real estate can be done in 672,000 different ways. You don't have to follow what the crowd is doing. The niches or niches, however you want to pronounce that, they work. And if it helps you get that passion, get that drive back, then that is a direction I really suggest going. And maybe it's just something like figuring out a new innovative marketing technique. Like, that's something that I always did whenever I started feeling in a slump and I'm like, okay, cool, I'm selling the homes I want to sell, but it's just kind of getting boring. That's when I would jump up and switch and do something different. That's when I would start a YouTube channel. So, let me clarify. That's when I would go to training first and then go start that YouTube channel. I'm not just going to throw spaghetti at the wall and hope it works. There is a proven track record of every little thing that you can do. So if you need to change up your marketing, and maybe that will make it a little bit more exciting again, then that is a great way to go. And another suggestion I have on this reigniting the passion portion is surround yourself with people that are equally as passionate, that like it just as much as you do. The people that you surround yourself with will undoubtedly make or break your career. If you are sitting in a bubble, you're sitting hidden away, you've got no other people around, you don't have mentors, you don't have other colleagues, you don't have anybody else that is helping reignite that passion and keeping you engaged, then it is going to be very difficult to continue going. Some personality types can do it, some people can do it, but for the most part, a lot of people will find burnout comes much quicker when you're not surrounded with like-minded people. If you don't know how to do that, great news, you're doing it right now. If you are watching this video and you went out and seeked out a video like this, you're already starting to do that a little bit. Now, I know that this is just a video, so you're not really getting surrounded by folks, but it is helping go in that direction. You can also go look for other podcasts, which, by the way, I do have a podcast, Real Estate Agent Lessons with Mongo. If you ever, if you're into podcasts, you can find that wherever you want, but you can listen to a podcast, you can watch a video, you can attend events, you can find mentors, or just hang out with other colleagues that just have your same interests in mind. Point is, by immersing yourself in real estate and immersing yourself into the topics and things that you find passionate and that you find joyful, it's going to help your longevity. It's going to help your energy, your focus. This is going to come across to your clientele as well. It's going to come across the other agent that you're working with. Just overall, all things get a little bit better when that passion is reignited. If this is your first time watching a video with my face on it, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. But don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I give away all this information for free. I'm not selling you guys anything. I don't have coaching I'm selling you. I don't have courses I'm selling, nothing like that. I might do that stuff way in the future, but right now I'm just purely trying to give out the information that I learned over the years. Now that we've pinpointed exactly what's going on and we've started reigniting that passion, we need to go to the next step, which is your mindset shift. Finding the passion isn't going to change your mindset. That's just going to help give you a little bit of motivation. And motivation is great, but motivation is very similar. I think I've heard this before, to like filling up a tub, right? Like a bath. It'll stay warm for a while, but it'll eventually get colder and colder if you're not constantly adding hot water to it. We're going to have challenges and we're going to have opportunities in this career. This is one of the reasons why real estate is so interesting to me, at least, is because the challenges and the opportunities come in droves and they're always bouncing off. We have to constantly be changing. We have to constantly be learning, which I'm going to talk about here in a second. But we need to view those challenges as opportunities instead of just, hey, it's a challenge, throw up my hands, I give up, everything's changing, it's too difficult. So I have two things to talk about on this. First, we're going to have setbacks. That's all there is to it. This is a tough industry. We get paid very well because it's very tough, because it is hard to do this. It's hard to maintain relationships. It's hard to find business. It is hard to build a big business within this business. So we're going to have setbacks. Every agent has setbacks. Every team leader has setbacks. I've got them. I've got them in droves. In fact, I get them all the freaking time. That's okay. That's part of the industry. We're not working a 9 to 5. We're crunching numbers, doing some low skill pay thing. There are a lot of moving parts with this. We're dealing with personalities, we're dealing with contracts, we're dealing with people. Just all around, there are a lot of things going on. So setbacks are not the enemy. How you respond to those setbacks is the enemy. And one of the biggest tips that I can give you on mindset shift in general is embracing a learning-based lifestyle within this career. You should always be learning. That is my biggest tip. I tell every single person in this. In fact, it is in our pathways to success. When a new agent comes onto our team, we give them the pathway to success. Here are the 4 or 5 things you absolutely need to do on the most basic level. And one of those 4 things or 5 things, I forgot how many it is 1 hour of learning per week, okay? Or 2 or 3, depending on how much money you want to make. The pathways to success is like, here's how you make 100K, 200K, 300K based on our price point. The point is continually staying learning based is in that. It is in one of the most important things that we teach our agents right from the get-go because it is that important. I can tell you now from my agents, the agents that I train and other agents I see in the industry, the biggest difference between somebody who excels at a very, very high level and somebody who is always struggling is a person that is always struggling is not continuously learning. A growth mindset will change the game. And that's not even just true for real estate. That's just true across the board. You want to get above 80% of people in the industry, 90%, 99% of people in the industry, you have to stay learning based. There's no other way around it. There are too many things changing in this industry. There are too many opportunities to be had and to be learned when you're learning. Another thing that is really helpful for me, and I think a lot of people too, is finding ways to engulf yourself in a positive mindset. This is really hard to do when you're getting kicked in the teeth. I know, trust me. My first 2 years in real estate were not good. I went broke twice, like dead broke, no money, bank calling me saying you're overdrafted. And I was just like, I'll just ignore it. And I've got a paycheck coming. Eventually I got this condo that's going to close. I've got this listing and just barely hanging on. I understand it is hard to have a positive outlook when you're getting kicked in the mouth. It's okay. There are ways around that though. Focusing on the good things that are happening, focusing on gratitude and what is going good in certain things or in your life or in your career. These things will definitely help. But whatever you need to do, I don't care if it's meditating, walking in the woods, grounding yourself, ice baths. I know there's a bunch of crazy stuff out there. It doesn't matter what it is. Experiment with them to find stuff that works for you to help you maintain a positive mindset. And just note that when you're not in a positive mindset and you are feeling negative, you can always change that with your state. Okay, standing up straight, doing the superhero pose. I know it's corny. I get it. But it does help. I just had a situation last week where I was just not feeling it. I was driving into work, not feeling it, kind of down, hunched over, all of this. And I remember those things that I've heard online, like Tony Robbins and stuff like that, talking about changing your states. And I've done it in the past. So, I jumped into it and I was like, for the rest of the drive there, I'm going to have my shoulders back, my chest up, my chin up, and I'm just going to drive. And by the time I got to my office, I felt much better. And that lasted the entire day, or at least a good chunk of the day before I had to, go do other things to kind of help. But the point is you can absolutely change it. Sometimes when we're in a negative state, we can absolutely change it. And we don't want to because feeling that feeling feels good. But if you want to succeed at a very high level, you're going to have to get rid of those bad feelings as quickly as possible. And finding support in whatever capacity. I know we kind of talked about surrounding yourself with people in the last section here, but this could be a mentor. It could be just a group of friends. They don't even need to be in real estate. They could be in sales. It could be in whatever industry, but just surrounding yourself with positive people that want to see you succeed and have a genuine and true interest in watching you succeed is so ridiculously underrated. It's something that a lot of us don't actively go after, but your relationships that you have with others will affect and cross over into your career. Now that we've spent some time reflecting this and hopefully changing your mindset a little bit, which I know is not going to be done in one quick video, you are going to have to work on this, but you can refer back to this video from time to time. But now we need to start doing goal setting and planning. And I know there's a lot of you that just heard that and you're checked out right now. You're like, goal setting and planning? I'm not liking this. I'm not enjoying this right now. I don't need to worry about goal setting and planning. Let's just do the thing. Listen, I can promise you, just from the lots of experience I have with agents, the ones that goal set and plan do better. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. The ones that goal set and plan not only do better financially, not only do better in their take-home pay, but they also do better with being inside of their niche and finding the passion and constantly staying engulfed and motivated because they planned it. And then they set their sights for it and they set their sails for it, and then they just went and they kept going until all of the negativity went away. That's what I'm suggesting for you to do. So, how do we start this? We start without going through a whole goal setting course, which I will do eventually on this channel here. But we start with figuring out where you want to be in 3 to 10 years, whatever time frame makes sense for you. I used to do 5 and 10 years, and then I realized that was too far out for me. So now I do it in 3-year increments. At any given time, every quarter, I go through where I want to be in 3 years. I'm constantly chasing this better version of myself. And it's not just real estate goals either. It's not just, hey, I want to go from 150 sales to 250 or 175 to 225 or anything like that. Sometimes it is just things I want to work on for me, my health, my awareness, my feel good, my morning routine, whatever that is. I'm constantly chasing it. So that's what I would suggest is look at what you want your life to look like in 3 years. You can write down a few bullet points and you spend 5 minutes writing down all the cool things and then get realistic on which ones you really want to pursue. And those are the things that we're going to put in some of our goal setting and planning. And when we do start that goal setting and planning, we need to make them SMART goals. We've heard SMART goals a lot. Now, once you have a kind of vague idea, then we need to break those into smaller sections, okay? If you want to go from 10 sales a year to 100 sales a year in 3 years, this is going to be a really, really big jump, but it is attainable as long as we break that down. So what does it look like? Where does our business come from right now? Are there things there that we can increase? If you're just sitting back and business is coming to you, you're not really going out, you're not really prospecting for business or anything like that, it's going to be very hard to increase those. So then we're going to have to add other things to get there. And then we're going to go from the end, right, the 3-year mark, and go, okay, cool, we got 100 sales. What does 100 sales look like? Well, I'm probably going to need an admin. I'm probably going to need 2 admin at that point, probably even 3 or 4, maybe a buyer's agent or something like that. So, okay, cool. Well, then I need that by year 2. Okay, so from year 2 to year 1, right, because I'm working backwards, then I need to make sure I'm doing this, which means I need to make sure I'm doing these things right now. I need to find in some pillars of prospecting to add into my business so that I can go from 10 to 40 this year, or 10 to 20 this year, 20 to 40 next year, right? And maybe we don't hit that 100. That's perfectly fine. It's just kind of a random arbitrary number I threw out, but that's how you do it. You do it from the goal and work your way back. So if we want to make this even easier, let's say that you know that you cold call every single day. It's what you like, you enjoy it, you enjoy building that connection. I know a lot of you probably don't. I get it. Cold calling's not my thing either, but let's pretend it is. And you produce 25 sales a year from this, and you do consistently. You call for 1 hour every single day. You call it your hour of power. Well, if all of your business comes from that, and let's say, you don't have any repeat and referral business, just to make the conversation much easier. If all of it comes from this, then statistically, if you bump it from 1 hour a day to 2 hours per day, you should, given all things being equal, go to 50 sales. In fact, realistically, you should go a little bit higher than that because your skill level is going to get higher. Because you're doing it a lot more often, your skill is going to get better. So you'll probably end up at like 60 sales per year from that. And then, you want to go higher from that, but you're like, cold calling is 2 hours a day is kind of a lot. Then let's work on our past clients and our sphere of influence or add in a different pillar. But the point is, we want to continually stack these things to give you proof that you can continue and become a rock star and get to your goal. Now, when we're setting goals, one thing that I learned over the years is setting a super vague goal doesn't work. It just doesn't. If you have a goal of, I would like to increase sales next year, cool. Well, that's not really a great goal. How do we break that down? So here is the suggested goal setting rule that I have. From X to Y by when? From 10 sales a year to 50 sales a year by 2028. Or whatever, right? That is a good top line goal. Now we can break that goal down. And it's great to set all of these things in place, but we're still going to have to look at everything. So we need to continually review. I do this every 3 months. If you're a solo agent, if you're just getting started out in your career, you probably don't need to do it every 3 months, although I wish I had in the beginning, because once I started breaking it down into 3-month cycles, and putting in new rocks and putting in new sprints every single quarter, which I'll talk about in other videos what that means. It's basically just miniature goals and things that you want to do. Once I started doing that, things started progressing very quickly, because I had a very dedicated timeline. Instead of looking at it once a year like I used to, and I'd pull out my old, goal planning sheet that I did from the previous year from some coach or trainer online, I would look at it and go, oh, I completely forgot I was supposed to do that. Oh, I completely didn't do these things. This is why we want to break it down into quarters, because then you can sprint to each next section. You know that you've got this quarter to start a cold calling plan. And so you need the scripts and you need the system and you need the dialer, and then you need to practice, and then you need to start the dials, and you can do all these things. If you just do that once a year, you're going to find that the following year you didn't do any of the things that you told yourself you were going to do. So I suggest reviewing regularly, quarterly, or even a little bit faster if you can. For me, quarterly is a good cadence so that I'm not spending too much time thinking about what I'm going to do. I'm actually spending time executing, but you'll find the right cadence for you. Now, I am very curious, before we go to the next section, what is one of the things that popped into your head as soon as I said goal setting, outside of, hey dude, you're crazy, I don't want to goal set. If that was your first thing, whatever. But what was one of the things? Put it down below in the comment section. I'd love to hear it. I read all those comments. That is actually me responding back to it, even though I have a team of admin and stuff like that. This is a passion project of mine, so I enjoy listening to see what you guys do. I'd love to hear what goal that you're going to set for yourself, or something that popped into your brain about those goals for the future. So now that we have an idea of exactly where we want to go, we've got a good foundation, just an outright, just solid foundation. Now we need to start talking about some of the other things like skill enhancement. I would argue that there are very few people in real estate that don't continually enhance their skills that are not growing. Like if you see that they're staying around the same 6 sales a year, 4 sales a year, what have you, most of the time, one of the biggest things that they're not doing is enhancing their skills, which this is a very dynamic industry. It's always changing. And the cool thing is everybody puts their stuff out there for you. If you want to know a super hyper specific way to do it, somebody has that way to do it. Like if you're like, I love Facebook groups, I want to become the Facebook group guy. There's a Facebook group guy or gal out there that will teach you exactly how to do it step by step. Start with this. Here's how you title it. Here's what you should put. Here are the kind of contents you should put. Here's how you talk to them. Here's how you reach out to them. All of these things. And they'll give you a checklist, they'll give you everything. You've just got to go out there and find it. And it amazes me that a lot of people don't do this more often. I have made more money in this industry from $500, $800 courses, $200 courses, $30 courses than I have in almost anything else I've done. There's very few things that I've done 100% on my own that I was just like, I'm a genius, I thought of this. It doesn't work like that. The path is already paved. There's like 1.5 million real estate agents at the time of shooting this. I'm sure once the things change in August, it might change a little bit. But my point is, there's 1.5 million people out there doing this. You can follow them. And that's just in our industry. There are related industries that you can do very similar tactics and win big. So there are a few things that I am going to suggest that you work on when it comes to enhancing your skills. Negotiations is one. Learning new technologies and new platforms is another. And then, of course, becoming an expert in your niche or in whatever section that you're dealing with, which is generally a niche or something like that. If it's first-time home buyers, it's pool homes, it's luxury, it's commercial, whatever that is, diving deep into these and constantly adding to your skill is helpful. And as I kind of alluded to already, one of the best ways to do this is to attend workshops, attend courses, pay for courses, things like that, and go through it. You know, I've got courses. I got one course in particular that I paid $800 for in 2000, I think it was 2020 on the dot, or 2019. And then I implemented those steps. It was a very good course. It walked right through. It was several hours long, did all of those steps, and then I executed on that thing. And that thing has made me at least $89,000 in the very first year, and that was only because we were halfway through that year. And since that day, for the first full year that it's done, it has never brought in less than $139,000 into my team or into my bottom line. And that's my side of it. As a team leader, I split that with my agents. My agents are running all of the deals. I'm not even running the deals. So that number is actually considerably higher because I am splitting that with them. My point with this is, a $500, $800 course can make a really big difference. You just have to go in and execute on that thing. Find something that you think you'll like and then go in there and do it. And then you actually have to do the thing. A lot of people take these courses and they'll get this like mental stimulation. It feels good to learn this stuff, but then they don't actually do anything. The execution is super important. And then, of course, you've got seminars you can go to. You've got conferences. I go to, I think it is 9 conferences a year, or I call it conferences or masterminds, because I do a lot of masterminds now. I kind of switched from conferences to masterminds, which is just a smaller version of a conference that generally has 10 to 15 people in it, sometimes upwards of 50 or something like that, of people at my level or above me that I can learn from, right? So these are great places to go to as well, but so are conferences. You go to a conference, you're going to hear something that you're going to go, oh my gosh, that's amazing. But then you still have to do some follow-on. See, a lot of people go to these conferences and they learn something, and then they write this down, and then they've got 30 ideas, and they don't come home and start executing on one. So I always tell my team whenever we go to a conference, I pay for one every year for us, and I always tell them one nugget. So all you're looking for is one nugget to go back and change, right? If you get 3, that's awesome, but the goal is at least 1. And if you get that one nugget and you come back and you implement it and you do this year after year, your life will look dramatically different in 3 years than it will by not doing that thing. And if possible, part of that learning process is going to be surrounding yourself with mentors. Lucky for you, you're doing this video, which probably means you're seeking higher level learning in general, or you just found this video because you're just on the verge of giving up and you're like, oh, I'll just click that cool little thumbnail or what have you. The point is, I would suggest surrounding yourself with people. I know we've talked about that like 4 times in this video, but it is that freaking important. And then as you continue learning more of these things, what you're going to find is it is inevitably going to help you increase your value in the marketplace. It's going to help you increase your value to your clientele as well. Your negotiations are going to get better. The way that you secure the clients are going to get better. Your customer support's going to get better. Just whatever it is, by continually staying learning and continually enhancing your skill set, it is going to come across to your clientele. When your clientele understands that you're the greatest value in real estate that they could have received, they're going to tell their friends. And when they start telling your friends, your phone starts ringing without you having to do anything, which is a great way to run your business, which will not last forever if you're not doing something. Keep that in mind. I've seen that happen. Somebody gets to the point where their phone starts ringing because they've got a great past client base and they've done a good job, and they can build on those referrals for a while, but then they stop communicating with their people and they stop all of this. That gravy train will end quickly and before you know it. Now, if we've gone through all of these steps and now we're at this little section here, then what we need right now is resilience, okay? Because all of this great stuff that we've done, even though you've done all of these things, you're going to have to go back and do again and again and again. Yep, sorry, it's part of life. It's part of how we're doing it. That's how you build that resilience up. But you need that resilience because even if you do all of this stuff and things are going well, life will take that big fist and punch you in the face again. It's going to happen. It's not fun, but it is part of the industry. We wake up every single day unemployed. Every day we wake up unemployed and we have to go fight for our business. And it's not that easy. So that's why we need the resilience. So one of the best ways to do this is reframing failure or reframing setbacks. We're going to have failure, we're going to have setbacks. We talked about this already, but we have to reframe them. Okay, they are an opportunity to learn. They're an opportunity to grow. Okay, when you're going through it, it doesn't feel good. When you're building a team and 3 agents leave, it's not super fun, right? Luckily, I've been very fortunate. I've got very high tenure on my team, but like I see it with other real estate agents or other team leaders, and I've got my own problems too, right? When you're going through it, it doesn't feel good. When you're a solo agent, you don't know where your next piece of business is coming from, and you literally feel hopeless. That is a dangerous feeling. It is a scary feeling. We don't like that feeling. But trying to reframe that of going, okay, cool, then the direction I'm going now is not working. That's the reframe. What I'm doing isn't working. I would not have 0 in my pipeline if it was working. So the lesson here is to pivot and find something else to do. And this is where we need to talk a little bit about developing healthy responses to those setbacks. I kind of talked a little bit earlier about, grounding and meditating and cold plunges and a bunch of other things. It doesn't matter really what your thing is, but these setbacks are going to happen and they're not going to feel good. And no matter, no words that I can tell you, nothing, no advice that I can give you is going to stop the feeling sometimes. It's just going to be that gut-wrenching feeling like a rock sitting in your stomach. So we need to have healthy coping mechanisms with this, whether that's spending time with your family, going on hikes, the grounding, the meditation. I don't care what it is, but you need to find some sort of healthy coping mechanisms so that you don't lose your crap whenever stuff is falling down around you. So for me, I like to prioritize self-care and rejuvenating. I used to work 7 days a week for years and years and years and years. It wasn't until this year that I was like, hey, you know what? I went to a mastermind, and one of the big things they were pushing is 1 day off every week, 24 hours, start to finish, zero work, no phone calls, none of that stuff, completely take off. And I started implementing that this year. For the most part, I've fallen off a little bit, just like right now I'm in here on a Sunday shooting these videos for you guys, but it's because I like it. So I probably should get better at it, but I am working on it. I am getting there. Nothing's going to be perfect right at the beginning. And I'll tell you this, the amount of stress that is off of my back because I do this 1 day off per week thing has been tremendous, because as somebody that is a workhorse, a lot of times we just get in grind mode and go and go and go, and then our work efficiency actually drops. So these little breaks, these rejuvenating practices really help us out and make sure that we're focused when we are working and enjoy the time when we're not. There are a lot of different things we talked about in this video, but at the end of the day, you've got the power to change this. At the end of the day, you've got the power to reignite your passion. You've got it. It's sitting in your hands. Nobody else is going to come in here and do this for us, right? We are our own business owners here in real estate. Very few of us are working on a salaried basis or something like that, although there is some that do that. But the point is, we're waking up, as I said, every single day without a job, and we've got to continue to do that. So find your why and then reignite that passion for that why. Dive into that why and continue to go down there. It will help you in droves. Even if there's another pathway that might make more money, let's say the example I gave before, the guy or girl that likes a first time home buyer, trying to switch over to listings because it'll make more money and it'll be easier and you can do more business, that might not be the best strategy for you. If this is what you like and this is what you do not like, I know people that just dislike listings, or the sellers are a pain in the butt and they're always so needy and they're calling me all the time, and the first time home buyer doesn't do that, and they're fun and it's exciting and we're like friends at the end of it. Cool. Then that's your why. Do that. Push into that, lean into it, and ignite that passion again. And then take action on it, right? Don't just watch this video and then move on. Sit down, do some of the steps, do all of the steps that I suggested for you so that you can reset yourself. You don't need to go find 15 other videos. You're gonna find some bozo out here that's saying, oh, it's terrible and real estate's bad, get out of it, go into this instead, go into wholesaling, why do you have your license, or whatever. All of these different types of videos that are out there, you don't need them, okay? Just follow the steps and help reignite your passion. If you did find any of this helpful at all, please consider subscribing to the channel. Again, I give away all of this stuff for free. I'm not asking for anything at all, ever, period. There are a couple of videos we have out where it will ask for your email so that I can send you a checklist or send you a product, but we're not emailing you, we're not contacting you. It's literally just because that's the platform I have to send you the document that is in that video. And of course, please leave a comment below if any of this was helpful. Even if it wasn't helpful, that's okay. Put it down below. Hey, bozo, I didn't like this. Not fun. Not a cool video. It's all right. I've got thick skin. It'll be okay. You can put that down in the comment section. And please keep in mind that you're not the only one going through this. If you clicked on this video because you're hurting right now, and because you're thinking about quitting because, it just hasn't gone the way that you've wanted it to go, you're not alone. There's a lot of people like this, especially with all the changes happening, the adjustments in the market since COVID. COVID were unicorn years. If you're sitting in a place where you're like, I did great in COVID and I'm not doing great now, that is because the industry has changed. The market has changed. The people that needed to, or the people that want to excel needed to change as well, and they didn't. And you might be one of those people, but that's okay because you found this video. Okay. And then now you found this channel and you've subscribed and you start watching some of it and you start watching other people in the industry and you get excited again. And before you know it, you could have a very thriving career doing things exactly how you want it. If you want to work 4 hours a day and make $200,000 a year, it is possible in this industry, which is crazy to even say that, right? If you want to, be a workhorse and build a team and, have a lot of things going on and adjust the vision of a business, like you can do that too. Real estate is really interesting for that. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.